hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. It's the happy hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary hanging out with you guys on a Thursday. What's up, Rico?
Hello.
So your Guardians-Yankees game tonight got postponed.
Yeah, sad. Nestor Cortez just has to sit for a little longer.
Just a little bit longer.
Nestor Cortez, top 5, I believe, in the majors in ERA.
Really?
Or at least in the American League.
We haven't really talked about it a whole lot the last couple of days.
Look at him and his beautiful mustache.
But the MLB playoffs right now are going pretty well. The Padres and Dodgers are tied at 1 game apiece. We're not going to spend super long on this because we got a lot of stuff to get to as usual. Mm-hmm. But
you're very positive.
Dodgers and Padres are tied at 1 game apiece. The Guardians-Yankees game, although the Yankees won, it was a very good game. There's been a lot of good pitching
As I said, they wouldn't win.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good pitching in the Phillies-Braves series. The Phillies and Braves are tied at 1 game apiece.
I need the Braves to pull that out.
There's only been 1 home run throughout the 2 games between the Phillies and Braves because the pitching has been so dominant.
Boring.
So that's what you say.
Chicks dig the long ball.
You're right. Thank you. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the starter Hammond text line, both those open for you guys the entire show today. So we got a text on the text line from an unnamed texter, and it's a picture of a Reddit thread.
Apparently.
That Rico, we're getting talked about on a Reddit thread.
Hooray! Well, not us
specifically, but the Ticket.
But the radio station is.
So if you guys are fans of the Ticket, I guess. So I don't know how Reddit works. I really don't know how Reddit works. Don't have an account. Don't really have an interest in an account. But I guess the Ticket's being talked about. So feel free to go over there and continue talking about the Ticket in a positive light.
Let everybody know that we're great.
Yeah. Give your thoughts. So once again, I'm not trying to no free shout outs to Reddit or anything,
but I guess kind of.
I guess sort of. Like I said, don't know how it works. Don't have an account. We'll just see kind of how it happens. But we got a text in of a screenshot from a Reddit thread. So if you guys know anything about Reddit, if you have an account, you know what to do. So once again,
go make us look good.
Yeah, go make us look good.
I think we do a great job, but apparently
I feel pretty confident in our abilities.
I think we do a great job.
We're only going up also. A lot of exciting stuff on the horizon. A lot of good things coming up here in the near future as well. I don't know if you guys saw Strick's tweet today. He's going to be doing a little bit of work for Big Ten Plus.
BTN Plus? Is it
it's Big Ten Plus? Yeah,
I'm going to call it BTN.
I don't like it as much anymore.
I'm going to call it BTN Plus.
Big Ten Plus. So you'll be able to hear our very own Eric Strickland, obviously the Husker Hall of Famer, on the TV waves of Big Ten Plus for some of the Husker basketball games.
Stricky on the call.
Yep. So Stricky business, if you want to call it that. But no, so we're super excited. Super excited that Strick's, coming back, and number one, that he's back in Lincoln. Number two, he's going to be able to share that knowledge, not only on our airwaves here on the Ticket, but also reaching more and more people on Big Ten Plus, talking about Husker hoops.
His already vast basketball knowledge and now more intimate knowledge of the Husker basketball program of its current variety.
Yeah, so
very fun to listen to. So if you want that, first off, check out Big Ten BTN Plus. I don't care what they call it now. Check out BTN Plus when they play their games on there, and then listen to On the Block that follows us.
Yeah, 100%.
Some more Stricky.
Now, what's interesting here is Nathan is gone today, tomorrow, and Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So Bach is filling in for Nathan today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm filling in for Nathan tomorrow with Strick, and then Rico is filling in Monday for Nathan. So you'll get a little bit of variety here in the coming days.
So let us know
Stricky.
Who does the best.
Yeah, you want to make it a little competition here?
Little comp.
We can just make an expansion on the thread that's
comp?
talking about us right now.
Who did the best?
Who did the best between me, Bach, and Rico?
Yep,
we'll figure it out.
Me and Strick out that Bellevue West connection, so watch out.
We do, or you guys do. However, Strick and I have done a couple shows together,
It's true.
and we have a good time.
Bach and
So-
Strick had a show together.
That is true. So I would honestly,
I'm on the outside looking in.
you're on the outside looking in. Bach and I sort of have the upper hand. If anybody has the upper hand between us two, it's Bach because they actually had a show, an established show
I
together
believe
for
in
a while.
myself.
Let's hope.
Never haven't.
Have you communicated with Strick at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not about the show.
Not about the
but,
show. Just in general.
communication,
Yeah. We talk.
I picked him up once. Dropped his car off to get some work done. I picked him up. We drove
Yeah.
in the car together.
Of course. Okay, so here's another thing that we might do today. It might be time to bring back the tip jar just for today. Now, we're not really going to we're not playing the open.
I could.
We're not going to.
Why? It's a
But
good one. I worked hard on it.
If you guys remember, I'm going to say it, the text bag. If you guys remember the text bag, it's basically that just at the happy hour, on the happy hour.
I stake claim to it.
You still hold the rights. You do.
I do.
So,
Partial
and
ownership.
normally we do it on Thursdays. So it would fit well with what today is and everything like that.
I can do it. We can do it in the next segment.
Okay, let us know. 402-464-5685. Let us know. Should we do the tip jar today? Yes or no on the text line. If you'd rather us strictly stick to sports and talk a little Husker basketball, Husker football, we can do that. We're going to talk about football, especially.
Husker volleyball has
nonstop,
big matches
nonstop.
this weekend.
Yeah, so we got all that for you guys today. Once again, want to hear from you guys. 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Sartor Heyman text line. Bill and Bennett says you guys do a fine job as long as you don't take certain calls. Thank you, Rico. and I appreciate that, Bill. Chase B wants the tip jar, so we'll get to that here.
That's one.
We need 8. Is that a good amount?
Eight's my lucky number, so sure.
Okay, 8.
Shout
We
out-
need 8 people,
shout
so
out to
7
J.R.
more.
Smith.
Yeah, shout out to JR. So we need 8 people to be in on the tip jar. If not, then we talk sports, and we're fine with talking sports.
That's
We got
usually
plenty
what we're here for.
of stuff to talk about. So once again, number to text, number to call. You guys know it, 402-464-5685. All right.
Also, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We
Rico,
also have a vote. No,
thank you, Mark. I was gonna ignore Mark.
no, we can't ignore Mark.
So we'll see.
If we get 10 votes, no, we won't do it. But if we get 8 votes, yes, we will do it. And you can only vote once.
Okay, thank you, Rico. There are stipulations to this. We got 3 yeses.
3 yeses.
Does
Oh.
Mark's no count?
Yes, it does.
All right.
I think Mark's vote no counts for like 2 or 3. He's very he's very important. He's very influential.
I don't know. I mean, he has time to just text into our show.
Damn it, C Money.
C Money says, I don't know what I'm voting for. No. All right. C Money doesn't like to have fun.
The nerve.
He doesn't like to have fun.
Some
I don't
people
know.
still
It's kind of like a thing. It's like on the Thursday, we're all ready for a Friday. I'm ready to get to this game at some point.
think. I'm
Um,
excited for this game.
there's a lot
Has
riding
the
on
line
it.
dropped? Because they
can look
lost
this up.
they lost their starting corner. He's leading the team in pass breakups, and he's like 4th in the team in with like 17, which is weird. But he's like 4th in the team in tackles, leads in pass breakups. He also has like 3 picks or something along those lines on the year. So
It is dropped by half a point,
it's at 12,
13 and a half.
13.
I saw it on Tuesday, I saw it at 14.
I thought that it was going to get as low as like 9.5. I guess I'm wrong.
So
You think it gets down to 11?
maybe
like a
probably
10?
Not. Probably not.
Nice little touchdown and a field goal.
It's probably going to stay at 2 possessions like this. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, it might get down to like 12 and a half, but I wouldn't be surprised if 13 and a half is a pretty popular number because you got either 2 touchdowns or not 2 touchdowns. Basically they're predicting that the final score is 34-20. That's what they're predicting the final score to be. Purdue obviously with the win.
Yeah.
So
Stupid boy.
we'll see what happens.
They're getting like 3 points because it's home field. So in reality, it's just a 10-point game.
Holy crap. The money line, if Nebraska wins this game, the line is plus 360 on the money line.
I don't know what that means.
So basically, Rico, if it's like, so tonight's game, for example, between the Commanders and the Bears, just a riveting matchup that everybody's going to be wanting to watch on Amazon Prime.
I think the over-under is like 37.
There might be a lot of Amazon Prime memberships sold tonight just so that people can watch the Commanders Bears game.
Yep.
Because everybody wants to watch the quarterback matchup of Justin Fields and Carson Wentz. But
kind of.
I would watch Justin Fields. Like, I'm going to watch it for Justin Fields.
You never know with Carson Wentz.
You don't. So here's the thing. At that line for basically, it's even. The line is even. So all odds are minus 110.
Okay.
Because basically that's just how they work. So then if you are the favorite, you go lower, obviously. So like Purdue in this matchup is minus 480. Nebraska is plus 360.
Okay.
So like if you put $1 on Nebraska, you would win $3.60 if they win.
Okay.
If they have to win outright.
Okay.
Or the spread is normally just minus 10 to where minus 110 to where if you put $1, you win 90 cents.
Okay.
And it just obviously multiplies the more money you put on it.
Okay.
So that's how the lines kind of work.
That's weird.
It can be confusing. So, it is what it is.
One of the many reasons I don't bet.
Well, and like, here's the thing,
and
Rico.
The fact that I'd be very bad at it.
You would be very bad because let's not forget that your record right now through the first couple weeks of picks is 21-26.
Don't do that.
So
2 years ago I was the GOAT. All right, watch yourself.
I almost said it. Clinging on to history, Rico.
You know me.
You're clinging on to history.
Always looking back.
You're doing too much.
Never looking forward. You know me.
You're doing too much. All right. So once again, 402-464-5685. Let's talk a little bit more about just how important this game is, because we've kind of discussed it over the last couple of days. And there's been a couple just new things to take note of. Quentin Newsome and Luke Reimer are going to be game time decisions. They're going to travel to Purdue, but they're going to be game time decisions.
How much of a lot? Like,
Quentin Newsome's a big one.
Well, I mean, both of them are big ones. Like you've had Luke Reimer the entire season. You missed Nick Henrich for a while after he hurt himself in the first game. And they were trying different, matchups at middle linebacker to pair with Luke Reimer. But after Bill Bush took over, Luke Reimer kind of reverted back to his old self, where he's flying all over the field. He's not really afraid to make any plays. He's getting a buku amount of tackles. He's all over the place. So losing I believe he's the leading tackler on the season, is going to be a massive loss, because then you're going to have Henrich and more than likely Kolarovich. And not to take anything away from either one of them, they're both Division I athletes. They're both supremely talented. They are not as athletic in pass coverage as Luke Reimer. They're not as fast as Luke Reimer when it comes to runs towards the outside. I would say Henrich and Kolarovich are better suited for runs through the middle or anything that involves, more power play. But in terms of sideline to sideline production, Luke Reimer is going to be a big loss in that linebacker department.
You have a couple options at linebacker, and that's why I think the bigger loss, if we really wanted to kind of be nitpicky about it, I think the bigger loss would be Quentin Newsome. At linebacker, you have obviously Luke Reimer's one of your most explosive and tenacious players on defense. But you have options. You have Chris Kolarovic. You have Ateva Maga-Clements as well, who we've seen a little bit of this season. And worst case scenario, you bring Ernest Hausman along and you have to burn his red shirt. Worst case scenario.
Could you move could you play a weird thing where you have two nickels?
You could also, if worst comes to worst, you could probably move Isaac Gifford into one of the outside linebacker positions.
And move Caleb Tanner into the middle.
Like that's like worst case scenario.
Because then you have Omar Brown at the nickel. You have Javen Wright at the nickel.
Yeah, I would say Javen Wright especially. So the reason I say at defensive back, you have to remember going up against Rutgers last week, they went right at Malcolm Hartzog
right away.
And Rutgers was a team that doesn't even throw the ball a whole lot. And they went right at Malcolm Hartzog. And once again, give credit to Rutgers in that situation for doing their homework and realizing that a true freshman is on one of the sides. And on the other side, it's a guy like Quentin Newsome, who's been pretty experienced as well.
I mean, a 5'7" true. I mean, if I'm an offensive coordinator, I've got a big body receiver, I'm putting him on that side and I'm going right at Malcolm Hartzog.
It is. So
I'm testing him early.
So now here's the thing. Last week, there was that blanket of, all right, Malcolm Hartzog, you got out of the game. You kind of got your feet, you got a breath as well on the sideline. Much needed one after you got burnt a couple times and you gave up a big play. So it's time then for Brandon Moore to come in, who is experienced, complete opposite of Malcolm Hartzog, been in college more than 4 years, was a part of UCF's team, and now is a part of Nebraska, obviously. It was his time to come in, and he actually played pretty well, and he's gone he's on an upward trajectory over the last couple weeks in play and playing time. And so now this week, if Quentin Newsome does not play, I would assume that Brandon Moore is going to fill in at that spot opposite of Malcolm Hartzog. and then you become really thin at that spot.
You would think. I mean, you would think he fills in behind at that other. But who is the backup for? Isn't it Braxton Clark?
It would be Braxton Clark.
Would they have Braxton Clark start over there? Would they throw Brandon
know.
Moore over there? It's just a weird situation that you're going to be in, losing your number one wide receiver and moving your formerly number two wide receiver corner. Two wide receiver and Tommy Hill.
And here's another thing, just to kind of put everything into and put a bow on it. You're going up against Purdue that does like to throw the football.
Oh yeah,
they want to throw the football. They do not want to establish a running game. They might try, but then when they only get 3 or 4 yards per carry, which technically is pretty decent, they're not going to continue to stay with the run. Aiden O'Connell, I was kind of doing research. Aiden O'Connell, when he throws more than 41 passes, Purdue is 0-2. They're 0-2.
More than 41?
More than 41.
So
he's 0-2.
So, I mean, you take away the run, you force
take
them
away
to
the
throw.
run, force them to throw.
That's weird because they're a throwing team.
Exactly. So that's the thing.
A weird statistic.
Where you have to sit here, if you're Nebraska, and coming into this game, I'm really intrigued by the secondary play. I'm really intrigued because they're going to get tested time and time again. Mm-hmm. And although the record necessarily hasn't shown for Purdue, yes, they won 9 games last year. Jeff Brom, I still don't know what to think of him because he's a guy that came from, I want to say he was at Western Kentucky, if I can remember correctly. Then it was like he was going to leave for Louisville, which is his alma mater.
Or he's from
one of those. He has connections to Louisville. And then he didn't go to Louisville. And it was up in the air of whether or not Purdue was going to fire him or not because he had not been meeting up expectations.
And wide receiver with the Cardinals right now. Before short guy. Sorry, his name starts with an R, I believe.
Rondale Moore?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he's from Louisville.
Yeah.
So they were both from Louisville, and he was going to transfer.
Gotcha.
And he was going to go coach. Yeah.
So anyway, so it was this big thing, but Jeff Brom is in this situation where we know he's still a good coach. I mean, they won 9 games last year. Just don't know if he's exceeding expectations at Purdue right now, but we know his identity and he wants to throw the football around. And Aiden O'Connell can do that just as well as anybody in the conference. That's where there's a reason he was the second team all Big Ten quarterback last year in the Big Ten.
He's a preseason second team again.
So I'm really fascinated and intrigued to watch this secondary for Nebraska going up against a throw-heavy Purdue football team.
Mm-hmm. And I was wrong.
Because they're going to get tested.
Brandon Moore is the backup for Q. Braxton Clark is the backup for Malcolm Hartzog after Tommy Hill went over to wide receiver.
So there you go. So it would be Brandon Moore.
See Brandon Moore and Malcolm Hartzog out there, and if Malcolm struggles, if Brandon struggles, you're more than likely going to see Braxton Clark. But it's only going too deep. I don't know who the third, fourth corners are. Jaden Gold is on here as a safety. I remember he was the true freshman 4-star corner
from New Jersey,
coming out of New Jersey. That was a big get for Nebraska. They moved him to safety, or maybe he can do both. So. I mean, it's going to, like you just said, it's going to be really interesting going up against a pass-happy offense for the second time in 3 weeks, because Indiana was a pass-happy offense, and you saw how well the defensive backs played against them. But again, that was with Quentin Newsome playing on one side, and that was Malcolm Hartzog's first start. So really, we're going to see just how deep and just how well this secondary that Travis Fisher is in charge of can hold up against a much better quarterback than Connor Bazelak.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. They're going to get tested, and I'm interested to kind of see, especially Malcolm Hartzog, because obviously he's been a guy that we don't need to tell you guys this. I mean, you understand. He kind of burst onto the scene. He got here quick, and he found his way into the starting lineup, starting rotation from going to, I mean, you'll remember the first game he started against Indiana. He was he would have been the number 2 guy behind Tommy Hill, but he ended up getting the start. Mm-hmm. And then the following week at Rutgers, he was listed as a co-starter, and we only saw Malcolm Hartzog. And so we've seen this trend of more and more Hartzog the deeper we get into the season. And at some point, although he's a freshman, you're just going to have to figure out a way to get the job done. And he did in the second half.
And
he bounced back extremely well for being a true freshman and getting burned and targeted so much in the first half.
His body type is so much different than the other corners. They have him listed as 5'9", 170. Mm-hmm. From what we've heard before, he is not 5'9". He is shorter.
Yeah.
And then the other 3 corners, Quentin Newsome, 6'1", 180. Brandon Moore, 6 foot, 190. And then Braxton Clark, the outlier, 6'4", 195. So that your two starters or your two corners on the opposite of Quentin Newsom's side are 5'9" and 6'4".
Jeez.
Just
there you go.
slightly different.
Yeah, just a little bit different there. All right, let's go ahead and get to break. We have gotten enough to where we are doing the tip jar.
Yep, we got to 8.
So here is the time for you guys to send in any random thoughts, any questions, any wild topics that you want to bring up. It's now the time. It's a Thursday segment. We don't do it every Thursday. We used to, but now it's just kind of hit or miss whenever we can.
Mm-hmm.
And today is the day that we'll bring it back. We already got some questions on the text line from Don, so make sure you send them in. 402-464-5685. Any random thoughts you might have. It's time for the tip jar. We'll play the rejoin, the tip jar rejoin when we come back as well. We will already do that. We're ready to get going. Hope you guys are ready. Send in random thoughts that you guys have, and we'll get to every single one of them on the text line, as long as they're appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So we already got a couple in here, so we'll dissect those and discuss them and give our hot takes coming up next on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A good game with good friends. But isn't it time to up the score when it comes to the food? Wings and Rings is here for every football fan. Catch the game on one of their big screens or snag a tailgate pack to go. They're cranking up the heat and throwing in mad flavor this season. Stop by your locally owned Wings and Rings on O Street, Meridian Park, or 48th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village, or grab some crave-worthy Wings and Rings to go. Make them your go-to destination to watch your team bring home the win. Wings and Rings. Game time just got better.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
They might win, they might lose. But either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bakoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Quilliers, and Brant Excavating.
Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Stone, and joining me in just a moment is Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. But before I bring Andy on, I need to tell you about something that really got my attention. Just the other day, I saw on television Andy announcing that in the last 50 years, they had sold and serviced close to 100,000 vehicles.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, actually, the number would be a lot higher if we add in how many repeat customers we have for service and that come back to buy cars from us over and over and over again.
Now, Andy, tell everybody about your special offer.
Well, as most people know, always trade for vehicles, but now we're offering for people to come in and sell us their cars. We're ready to buy, bring it on in, whether it's a year old or a few years old, and we'll pay them cash that same day. It'll be hassle-free, and we'll do it the Honda of Lincoln way.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of buying cars, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Windy conditions will be in place yet again today as northwest winds could gust over 40. A red flag warning will be in effect this afternoon due to critical fire danger as we see an afternoon high of around 61. A few passing clouds tonight with a low of 40. It will be windy again tomorrow, but slightly warmer with a high of 71. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Seasons change, but your land stays the same. You need the right solutions to keep you moving. That's why you rely on Acres Equipment, your Nebraska-owned premier John Deere dealership. Whether you're harvesting, protecting your crops, feeding the herd, maintaining your lawn, improving your business, or letting off some steam, Acres has what you need to get the job done. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money. But like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
We have to learn from what's happening right now. Frost waded into this with a formula system that didn't work. Now, there were coaches that were telling me that, but how do you know? How do you know? There was one coach in particular that said, Simple, I don't know if you know this, but they just hired 2 coaches whose systems will not work in the Big Ten. And I said, oh, give me a break. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right so far.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to the Happy Hour
Let me ask you a question about the tip cup, because I had a little thing with the calzone guy.
with Nick Sainert.
What did you just say? Go put $1 in the jar right now. Are you serious? Yeah, now. Damn it.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
A big old chocolate ass in MetLife.
What?
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back. It's time for the tip jar. Send us a random text, random thought, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line. We already got a couple that we'll get to. We first go to Don.
I missed this open.
It's okay.
It's a great rejoin.
It's
I'm
okay.
I'm so proud of it.
Don't
okay it. You loved it.
The Antonio Brown thing.
Yeah, that one might be a little. I might want to get rid of that.
That
one
one's
now.
bad
Yeah,
nowadays.
that one's bad now.
Yeah, I mean, like back when we created it, it was fine
It was funny.
because he was still on the Buccaneers. He was
Now
still
it's-
playing football.
Now it's not funny.
Now it's kind of dangerous, a little iffy. All right, so first we go to Don. Nick, what do you think is the best song to get you focused on a task? Oh gosh. Rico, what do you consider the best video game to introduce someone to for video games?
Oh,
That's a really good one. His tip: come on down to Runza Field this Sunday to watch some great youth football at different age levels, especially at 11:15 Elks versus Owlo on field day. I couldn't even tell you anymore. Sidebar: I couldn't even tell you anymore the youth football names. Like I couldn't tell you if like Runza was still there, Police is still a thing, Firefighters.
I don't know any of these.
It's like the midget football team names.
Yeah,
but Owlo's a new one. So I couldn't tell you. I don't know, like if Owlo replaced. I don't know who they replaced. So, so yeah, maybe on Sunday. Okay, what do you think the best song to get you in the zone or focused on a task is? So today I was actually prepping. This is actually a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I was prepping for high school football tonight. 7 p.m. kickoff between Millard West and Lincoln Southwest. And the song that I listened to is called "After Party" by Don Tolliver.
Interesting.
We can't play it on the air, but that's the song that got me going.
I'm sitting here trying to think of a video game to get somebody interested in video. There's like
youth football.
I can't think of anything to somebody that hasn't played video games to get them interested. I guess, I mean, if you want to go like old school, I mean, I could hit you up on the Nintendo 64 and get you with what is it? It's just Mario. I don't remember exactly what the game was
I
called.
think a good one,
not Mario Kart or Mario Party, just like I think it was just Super Mario, and you're running through the castle, jumping in paintings, trying to collect stars. Like that's a good one.
I think so. Here's the thing. Obviously Nathan gave me his Xbox 360, so I've been kind of grinding on NCAA Football 14 right now. And anyway, I went to Game Room downtown, and it was kind of interesting because like they have a lot of old games.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to find NCAA basketball March Madness 2010.
Yeah.
Because that's a great game. But when I was there, I found Modern Warfare 2. The
OG.
original.
The OG.
Modern Warfare 2.
They remastered
it.
And now they're making a new version of it.
Yes. They remastered it, and now they're making a new version. But I got the original version for $6.
I remember.
I was like, this is a steal.
I remember that game.
So I immediately texted all my buddies, and I was like, who's 1v1ing me on Rust right now?
Who's trying to get quick scoped?
Exactly. Because great game. Great campaign as well.
It depends on what kind of game you're trying to introduce them to. I mean, if you're trying to get introduced to like a shooting game, I mean, Modern Warfare would probably be the one.
Yeah.
RPG games, all that stuff, that's depends on the preference of, reality based
I don't even
or
know what
fantasy
RPG
based role playing games.
Okay. See, I couldn't tell you.
There's a whole bunch of different things that you could get introduced to, but I guess I would start you off, some Super Mario on the Nintendo 64.
Somebody says GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64.
That's a good one.
Never heard
Golden
of it.
Gun. Fantastic.
Never heard of it. So anyway, so yeah, it was
maybe some Sonic and Tails on the Sega Genesis.
When I was there at Game Room, I asked him, I was like, hey man, how much is an original PlayStation, like a PlayStation 1? And for $40 you can buy a PlayStation 1.
Wow.
Because I'm like, I've been going through like the Crash Bandicoot withdrawals.
Give me some Earthworm Jim.
Did you ever play Driver?
Maybe.
It was literally just a game where you drove around. That was it.
Probably not.
It was a lot of fun.
Crash Bandicoot for PS4, they released like a remastered of all like the first 4, and I bought it. That would also be another one I would want somebody to play. Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot was great.
OG.
It was fantastic. It was great. Okay, moving on. Eric says sour cream.
Hard pass.
I'm in.
Hard pass.
There's not a lot of condiments that I'm out on.
Sauerkraut?
I'm in.
Really?
Here's why. So it's a stipulation, and this is going to make me sound. I don't want to sound privileged here, but this
first world problems.
It's going to make me sound privileged. I liked sauerkraut. Then I went over to Europe,
and you had actual sauerkraut.
I had actual sauerkraut. That stuff is delicious. Now I come back, I can't eat this sauerkraut.
You had the OG sauerkraut.
I had the actual sauerkraut.
Good for you.
In a little shop there were little pork sausages, and then sauerkraut. That's all that was.
Yeah, I don't have a passport, so yeah.
So, well, that's your first problem, Rico.
That's a little privileged.
You need to go get your passport.
Yeah, because getting the passport automatically gets me to Europe. Yep.
It does.
Yep.
That's all it takes.
Don't have to worry about the money or anything.
But no, like I think there isn't any condiments that I'm out on technically.
Okay.
I mean, I like them all in certain situations. Okay, here we go. Chase B says, could Nebraska, if they win on Saturday, be a trap game for Illinois or possibly Minnesota?
I mean, Nebraska is a trap game regardless of if they win or not.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with you.
Because Illinois, again, is if they beat Minnesota, is going for, winning the Big Ten West. If Minnesota wins, they are also going for winning the Big Ten West. So either way, whether Nebraska wins against Purdue or not, they'll end up being a trap game for whoever they play regardless for the rest of the season. But if they do win against Purdue, then it'll be, honestly, it wouldn't be a trap game. It would just be, if Illinois beats Minnesota, it'll just be a battle for who's going to take control of the Big Ten West. And if they end up beating Illinois and Minnesota beats Illinois, then when they face Minnesota, it's just all that fun stuff.
How wild will it be if the Nebraska-Minnesota game will dictate the Big Ten West?
Determine who wins the Big Ten West?
Yeah. How wild is that going to be?
That is crazy.
Because if you would have asked
us...
because
in Nebraska, what, do they play Michigan before or after Minnesota?
Before
Minnesota. So, I mean...
Then they have Wisconsin, Iowa. That's it.
Yeah, it could, but...
I don't even know, who does Iowa have this week?
I don't know.
I mean, we'll do our picks tomorrow, obviously. But I'm curious to see who Iowa has this week.
Nebraska...
they're done. All right. So I would not be surprised.
Hold on. So Nebraska started,
No, hold on. Without even thinking about this, or seeing the spread, this might be the biggest spread of the weekend. in all of college football.
They play Ohio State.
Yeah, at Ohio State. What do we think the spread is here?
Oh, it's got to be in like the 30s.
It's got to be in the 30s.
Although Iowa has a good defense,
but
the problem is they can't score.
Like, here's the thing.
Oh, wow. Oh, no.
I would not be surprised if this is in the 30s. All right, we're about to find out here. October. That's not right.
I mean, obviously, this is a game that we're going to pick tomorrow.
Scratch that. So they have so they don't have the spread out. Iowa has a bye,
They
play Ohio State next week. So there's no spread out for them.
That's still not good for them.
I mean, it's going to be.
That's good because then we can focus on Iowa, Ohio State because Nebraska has a bye week next week.
So here's the thing. Thank you. Okay, that would be our featured game. Ohio State's averaging 48 points per game, 49 if you round up. And Iowa, if you round down, because you have to, they're scoring 14. So
That's got to be the
your
biggest
score.
That's got to be the biggest.
It's going to have to be the biggest difference or spread because it's going to basically be like 49 to 14 on average. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 27.
Will this be the best defense that Iowa's faced so far?
Michigan.
Michigan has a better defense than Ohio. Well, statistically, a better defense than Ohio State.
Yeah, because Iowa's faced South. Gosh, looking at these scores just make me sick. South Dakota State, the first week they won 7-3.
They should have lost that game.
They lost week 2 against Iowa State.
They didn't score a touchdown in that game. They had 2 safeties.
That's right,
and a field goal.
That's right. So they had Iowa State in week 2. They lost 10-7. Then they shut out Nevada because they had like a 4-hour rain delay and the game finished at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Then it was Illinois last week, 9-6. That just makes me sick.
I think they've scored like 4 touchdowns this season. Maybe 5.
Hold on. It was Illinois' backup kicker that won the game for Illinois. Backup walk-on kicker Fabrizio Pinton hit a 36-yard field goal with 2:46 to go, and Matthew Bailey made a late interception to lift Illinois to a 9-6 win over Iowa on Saturday night.
Look at that.
Its first win over the Hawkeyes since 2008.
Look at that. Shout out to the backup walk-ons.
The backup walk-on kicker Fabrizio Pinton, great name. Oh my gosh. Pinton was called into action due to an injury for starter Caleb Griffin and went 3 of 3 on the night, including mix from 37, 36, and 27 yards.
Nice.
That's wild. Okay, here we go. So last one before we have to get to break. Stat of the day, 119 FBS wide receivers have more TDs than Iowa's whole offense. Oh, my goodness. A Nebraska ball fan asks, Nick, I'm going to the Notre Dame and Stanford game this weekend. Awesome. Would you like me to look for a signed Marcus Freeman picture for you since you are such a big fan? Honestly, there's a part of me that says yes.
The answer is yes. There's not a part. The answer is yes. If you you can find it, if you can make that happen, Nick would be ecstatic.
Or
and
honestly, it could even just be like a picture of Notre Dame that's signed by Marcus Freeman.
I would like a picture signed by the Stanford tree.
Really?
Yes. Or just a picture of the Stanford tree. You with the Stanford tree. Please and thank you.
Thank you, Nebraska ball fan. No, yeah, that'd be awesome, actually. Don't know how much I'd be willing to pay for it, though. That's the only problem.
I will give you a nice, crisp high five.
Those are special. Those are special for Rico.
I don't high five anybody.
Let's go ahead and let's take a break. When we come back, Rico will be back with Bach, and they'll kind of take you into the rest of your Thursday. But we'll be back tomorrow for obviously the happy hour. We'll be joined by Zach Carpenter of Inside Nebraska at 1:30. And we'll just keep diving into Purdue, Nebraska.
We'll make our picks.
Yeah, exactly. The picks that Rico is 21-26 on.
I'm gonna get there.
I am 27-20 on the year. So don't take betting advice from us. Do not do it. But we're gonna just see kind of how we do.
Your choice.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's take a break. The guys will be right back on the happy hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
This show's pretty rockin', huh?
Yeah, I'm so glad my State Farm agent helped me go.
Huh?
My State Farm agent. They help me with options to personalize my auto insurance to get a great rate that fits my budget, so I don't have to give up the things I love.
Wow. Hey, so do you think I could get your State Farm agent's number?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and Brent Excavating.
Hey guys, Nick Sainert here, and I want to tell you about my friends at Spine and Sports Chiropractic. I experienced a herniated disc in my lower back a few years ago, and thanks to the folks at Spine and Sports, I got back to feeling 100%. At Spine and Sports, they use the active release technique, which involves the soft tissue and can alleviate headaches, shoulder pain, plantar fasciitis, and more. What I like most about the ART method is that your doctor will construct a plan that fits your needs because the technique is not a cookie-cutter approach. Allow Spine and Sports Chiropractic to help you feel better. Set up your appointment today by giving them a call at 402-261-6841.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
October often presents all 4 seasons within 1 month. Are you and your feet prepared for the highs and lows? Stop in now to Brown Shoe Fit for a fall sale. Get $10 to $15 off any regular price shoe over $70. Save on dress shoes, athletic shoes, boots, and even hiking shoes. Brown's has great brands like Brooks, New Balance, Clark's, Hoka, Merrell, and more. Some exclusions may apply, so see store for details. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today for their fall sale, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Windy conditions will be in place yet again today as northwest winds could gust over 40. A red flag warning will be in effect this afternoon due to critical fire danger as we see an afternoon high of around 61. A few passing clouds tonight with a low of 40. It will be windy again tomorrow, but slightly warmer with a high of 71. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the Ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
Seasons change, but your land stays the same. You need the right solutions to keep you moving. That's why you rely on Acres Equipment, your Nebraska-owned premier John Deere dealership. Whether you're harvesting, protecting your crops, feeding the herd, maintaining your lawn, improving your business, or letting off some steam, Acres has what you need to get the job done. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Me caí, me paré, caminé, me subí, me fui contra la corriente y también me perdí, fracasé, me encontré, lo viví y aprendí. Cuando te pega fuerte, más profundo es el beat, sí.
Welcome back. Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. I'm riding solo for a bit. Nick left. Buck's getting some stuff done. So it's just going to be me and all of you for, I don't know, a couple minutes. Won't be too long, so you don't have to deal with me for that long because I know how much you guys dislike me. No, I'm just kidding. You love me. And I love all of you. So right now, we talked football. We talked about all the stuff that's going to be going on. Nebraska, Purdue. I mean, everybody's talking about that right now. Nebraska, Purdue, Nebraska traveling to Purdue, probably leaving sometime tomorrow. Maybe they left today. I'm not exactly sure the travel schedules of the football team. I would say they left today after practice. So Nebraska's headed to West Lafayette to face off against the Purdue Boilermakers, see if they can make it 3 wins in a row for the first time in 5 years. I'm not exactly sure when the last time they won 3 games in a row was. You guys can let me know that, 402-464-5685. But right now, I'm going to talk a little bit of volleyball because the volleyball team is back playing a home match for the first time in 20 days. It's been 20 days since the city of Lincoln, since the state of Nebraska has seen their Husker volleyball team in action at the Bob Devaney Sports Complex. So, with that in mind, Nebraska is the only remaining undefeated team in conference play in the Big Ten after 6 matches, after they swept Michigan State and then beat Michigan in 4 sets this last weekend. The weekend before, they were on the road out east when they faced off with Rutgers and Maryland, where they swept Rutgers and then I believe beat Maryland in 4 sets. Yes, I believe so. But again, they're the only remaining undefeated team in conference play as they face off against Penn State, the vaunted Penn State Nittany Lions, tomorrow inside the Bob. Then they have a day off before facing Northwestern on Sunday at 2 p.m. You can see the Penn State match on BTN. Unfortunately, the Northwestern one, I believe, is going to be on BTN or Big Ten Plus. And that one, the Sunday matchup, will be played at 2 p.m. And that will be the Huskers' annual pink match to honor breast cancer survivors and raise awareness about the importance of early detection. The Penn State matchup will be played at 7:30 against Penn State. And Penn State is coming off of being undefeated in non-conference play. They won a perfect 11-0 before splitting their first 6 Big Ten matches. They swept Indiana and Illinois. They beat Michigan State in 4. And then they lost to Michigan, number 8 Wisconsin, and number 6 Ohio State. So coming into this match, 3-3 in the conference. Nebraska is still sitting at a pretty 6-0 in the conference after 4-game road trip out east and then up to the Mitten State of Michigan. Some notes on Penn State. Kashana Williams, if that name sounds familiar, it's because she was actually a Nebraska signee in 2018. She played the beach season for Nebraska in 2018 before transferring before the indoor season to Long Beach State. She was a two-time first-team All-Big West selection before she enrolled at Penn State as a grad transfer this season. She's currently hitting .261 with 3.34 kills per set. Allie Holland is adding 2.06 kills per set, hitting .343 on the season with a team-high 1.44 blocks, which is 14th nationally. And Penn State is actually 6th nationally in blocks per set at 287. And Nebraska already faced a solid blocking team in Maryland, who I believe at the time, maybe they still do, led the nation in blocks and blocks per set. So they faced a staunch blocking team in Maryland already, and they still came away with that win. So we'll see how that goes against this Penn State team. Northwestern, starting off the season 13-5, 2-4 in the Big Ten. They already exceeded their win total from last year, where they only won 12 matches. They got their first top 10 ranked Big Ten road win in program history earlier this season, as they beat number 7 Minnesota in 5 sets on September 28th. Then they beat Rutgers at home in a sweep on October 7th. Most recently, they lost to Ohio State in 4 sets. But Northwestern, not the usual pushover that they have been in previous years in Big Ten volleyball, putting up fights against a lot of people. And like I said, they beat Minnesota, who's number 7 in the nation, at Minnesota. It wasn't at Northwestern, it was at Minnesota. So Northwestern kind of doing their thing this year in volleyball. Nebraska still without Nicklin Hames. She practiced fully earlier this week with the team. I believe they'll still be without her, so they'll still be running a 6-2 with Ani Evans and Kennedy Orr. Kennedy Orr, I believe, for the first time in extended action this season, went an entire match without a set error, without a double touch in their last matchup against Michigan. So she's slowly but surely the former number 1 overall recruit. I believe she's a redshirt freshman, or might still be. She had an injury and she redshirted. I'm not exactly sure, because with the COVID year, I'm not exactly sure what her current standing is with the volleyball team. But she, the former number 1 overall recruit, seems to be getting her legs underneath her and doing a really good job setting the team up. The middles came out to play in their last few road matches, as Caitlin Horde and Becca Alec making their presence felt, although Becca Alec did not play in their last game against Michigan. She came down with a bug, I believe, a couple minutes before their match against Michigan. So a couple of minutes before they started, they had to swap everything around, and Maggie Mendelson got to play extended time in the middle, of which she made the most of it. She played a really good game against Michigan. So again, Nebraska 14-1, 6-0 in the Big Ten, riding a 7-match winning streak, and the only Big Ten team without a loss. Again, Friday's match against Penn State will be televised on Big Ten Network and streamed on foxsports.com. Sunday's match will be televised on Nebraska Public Media, so you can still watch the game on television, and streamed on Big Ten Plus with a subscription. You can catch both of those on the Husker Radio Network if you want to listen to John Baylor and Lauren Cook West providing play-by-play and color commentary. Currently, the Huskers hitting .252 as a team, holding their opponents to a .118 hitting percentage, which still leads the nation. Nebraska is still playing a fantastic brand of defensive volleyball, and they're 14th nationally at 2.72 blocks per set. In Big Ten play only, they're holding their opponents to 105 hitting percentage. And 14-1 this season start is their best start since 2016, when they went 26-1 before a November 23rd loss at Minnesota. So again, you've got 2 big volleyball matchups this weekend for Nebraska. Tomorrow, they'll be facing off against Penn State. Sunday, they'll be facing off against Northwestern. In between, I guess you can catch yourself a football game, something like that over in West Lafayette. Nebraska will be playing Purdue. So again, Big Ten Network for Friday, Nebraska Public Media for Sunday. Watch yourself some fantastic volleyball, as the Huskers are going to attempt to stay undefeated and get to a perfect 8-0 in the conference. Penn State, Northwestern. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Happy Hour right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Up next on the block with Strick and Bach, as Nathan is out in the Hokie State catching some Virginia Tech football this weekend and just hanging out with his family. Some much-needed weekend off. But up next, Strick and Bach on the block. Thank you guys so much for listening. Adios.
Season